I forgot to hit record. Uh-oh. So did you guys catch all that, or you want me to run back through it? I guess we better run back through it just for the guys that aren't cluing in, right?
We got unlimited time. Go for it.
Oh, thank you. Somebody had to point that out. Going to make me earn that hard-earned money that I'm spending on this, right? So, all right. Tending bull versus defensive bull. So sorry, guys. So we're going to have to run back through this because I forgot to hit the little record button when we started. So, all right. So we're going to focus on tending bull first. So a tending bull is exactly that. It's a bull that's tending to a hot cow that's in estrus. The vocalizations that you're really going to hear on the bull side: heavy huffs, grunts, whines, glunking, panting, all those. And this is kind of what it sounds like. So those are the sounds of a tending bull. He's just tending to her, waiting for that opportunity that she allows him to breed. Now, the defensive bull is just what it states, a defensive posture, a defensive vocalizations. And a bull will switch from a tending bull to a defensive bull when there's another bull in the area that breaks his comfort zone. And it's going to vary a little bit on bull to bull. It could be 200 yards, could be 150 yards, could be a little bit more. I stay in that 150 to 200 range, typically more towards the 150, because I want that bull committed. I want him closer. Now, when a bull tends to or switches to the defensive, he's going to display dominance. He is going to try to intimidate that other bull. So he may go over and just thrash a tree and violently rake. But now he's going to add in a new vocalization. The lip ball, which that lip ball, it's also called a display bugle, dominance bugle. Basically, he's telling that other bull to stay away. And this is what I kind of was talking about right before I realized I forgot to hit record. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make. They get into the breeding sequence and they're acting like a tending bull. They're tending to that hot cow. And what happens is they'll get a bull that will respond, and it'll happen. It may take a little bit for you to kind of tell that breeding sequence and build that excitement up before surrounding bulls start cracking off. But the mistake I see a lot of people make, or when talking to a lot of people, is when they get that bull that responds at 300-400 yards out, they stop doing the breeding sequence and just start only engaging that bull. And what happens a lot of times is it's kind of confusing, because if you've ever had an opportunity to really watch a bull with a hot cow, it's really cool to see how his demeanor changes depending on where bulls in the area are. If there's nobody, he's just dogging her, huff, grunts, and whines, peeing all over himself, doing the glunking, just really his nose is right on her backside. Once a bull breaks his comfort, his demeanor completely changes, because you'll see where he focuses on her and does the tending, but he also does the defensive with that other bull that's coming in. Now, the other thing that I noticed was, and this happened a few years back when hunting Colorado, I had slipped in, had located a bull at a distance and started moving towards him. And as we got closer, we realized that this was a bull with a hot cow. We could hear the whole entire herd going. I mean, she was just making a lot of vocalizations. She was throwing a lot of buzz mews out. But as we got closer, that bull switched and all of a sudden started giving us a lot of those lip balls, telling us to stay away. But that cow, she also turned her head and really started giving us this really, really aggressive mew. And I couldn't figure it out at first, because it was the first time that I had ever heard this. And I was trying to figure out, man, what's her deal? And then it dawned on me, because cows choose the bull. So she chose her bull that she wanted to breed with. We were coming in. She was telling us to stay away also. So it wasn't just the bull that was kind of being defensive, but that cow can be defensive too. So in reality, you're not just going to switch to only a defensive bull. You're also going to mix in some defensive cow sounds also, just to add realism into that. So now I've got a video that I want to share with you guys. And I want you to watch this bull's demeanor, because you're going to see at first he's kind of in tending mode. You're going to hear huffs, you're going to hear glunks, you're going to hear all that, but you're also going to hear other bulls around, and then he's going to switch to defensive mode. And I want you to watch his posture, his demeanor, and listen to the vocalizations. All right. Everybody see this okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
See, he's kind of dogging that other bull off. Now he's going to come back to his cow. There's kind of some of those huffs. See how he just kind of pushed that little satellite bull away and then hit him with that display, that lip ball. There's some glunks. He's licking the air. So you can see he's kind of in that defensive mode now. He's still doing some tending, but he's also doing defensive also. Anybody know? Okay, up for grabs. That bugle that he just threw out. Anybody tell me what that bugle was?
I can't hear the video on audio on that.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, it's really quiet.
Huh. Is that the case for everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was kind of hard to hear. Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Oh, come on.
Move, Wilson.
Okay, let me stop share real quick. Let me try this, because I'm going to try to turn the microphone up. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Now, come back in. Share sound.
Much better.
Okay. Okay, that bugle right there. Who wants to take a stab at what it is? I'll play it again.
Okay.
Maybe a challenge.
Bingo. Challenge. Daniel, in the messages, send me your address.
Okay.
I've going to send you a Hunt League open read cow call.
Right on. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is I'm going to back this up to the start now that we got the audio figured out. And we'll kind of play through that again. So now that you guys, yeah, you guys should have said something. Okay, here we go.
I just thought I was deaf.
What's that?
I thought I was deaf.
Gotcha. Hear those glunks and that huff. But if you notice too, as he's working, he's always keeping himself between these other bulls and his hot cow.
And then is that pretty common for there to be a bunch of satellite bulls around like that?
Yeah, especially if you're in an area that has a high bull to cow ratio. Yeah, absolutely. Areas with smaller bull to cow ratios, it may be 4 or 5 bulls. So this is Arizona with just an insane bull to cow ratio on it. So, but yeah, it can vary. And that's one of the things that when there is a hot cow in the area, and you'll know there's a hot cow in an area because you'll go into that canyon and you're thinking, holy crap, the light switch is on, the rut is going, because there's just a ton of vocalizations. And that's what's going on, is there's a hot cow in that area that's creating that excitement for all of them. Those pheromones are in the air, and the other bulls recognize the vocalizations and the sounds that are going on. Remember, some of these bull sounds, these huffs, these grunts, these whines, these glunks, those are only sounds that bulls do during September. So they know what those vocalizations mean. Okay. So that is a great representation that shows you the tending bull, how he's tending, but also shows you the defensive too. And hopefully you noticed when he was in that defensive mode, he's constant motion. He's constantly running bulls away. And that's one of the things within the breeding sequence, especially, I mean, even when he was tending, I mean, even when he was right on the butt of that cow and nibbling her and licking, he's constant movement. So that's one of those things that, those of you that have watched the breeding sequence video and heard me talk about it, you've heard me how much I talk about moving around and how I have multiple sticks leaned up on trees for raking. And that's the reason, because you want to project that movement. You want to project, that bull chasing that cow around. And especially then, it's important that when you do switch to the defensive bull, you need to make sure that your bull vocalizations are faced towards the bull that you're working and your cow vocalizations are faced away. That way it gives the appearance that you are in between your hot cow and that other bull. So, because that's exactly what's going to happen if you do get into an area where there's a hot cow and you're working in on that herd, that bull is going to put himself between his cow and you. And so you need to remember to do that same exact thing. It's kind of those little things that add realism into your calling setups that make all the difference in the world. So any questions on the video, maybe some of the sounds you guys heard or some of the demeanor or anything that we've talked about?
No, I don't have anything.
Really?
I got a cow tag, so
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's fun to watch and you learn.
You do actually, any chance that you have. Last weekend we actually took the new camp trailer out for the maiden voyage and couldn't do a lot of scouting because we started driving down one road and we got about a half mile from camp and 3.5 foot deep snowdrift. And so we hit the other road and we made it about 4 miles down the road and hit another snowdrift. So there's still quite a bit of snow up there, but I saw more tracks and more sign than have ever seen down in the bottom there. And I think it's because, all the snow that has had, late that's kept them down low there. But also saw 2 very, very fat pregnant cows, some really fat does. So in fact, I just got reports yesterday that people saw the first calves on the ground. So those should be hitting. But yeah, you can kind of see the video camera heading back this weekend to jump back into recording new videos for the e-course and everything. And then, yeah, I think after Memorial Weekend, next weekend, we'll go back up and start setting trail cameras if we can get up some trails. So
Yeah, that's crazy. We went fishing over the weekend up the White Mountains and Pine Top Lakeside, and we were at 8,200 feet fishing. And all the way up the mountain, we didn't see one elk. And we went up there 3 times early in the morning. Usually you see elk everywhere. It's on the Apache reservation in Canada here.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was just crazy not seeing anything. I didn't see a deer.
Wow.
Nothing. It was, I don't know, it was cold too. It was like, well, not cold, it was 54 degrees.
Yeah.
So not like here in Tucson at 100 degrees today.
Ugh.
You know,
Mm.
saying.
I won't hold that Tucson thing against you.
Yeah, I know. I'm stupid. I was born here, so there you go.
I was actually born there also.
Were you really?
Yeah. At the Air Force Base.
At Davis Mountain?
Yep.
I just live. I could throw a rock in at Davis Mountain from my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I was born there, and then we jumped across over to Louisiana for a little bit, and then Merced, California, and then folks got divorced and up to Oregon, and that's where the mountains and fishing and hunting got instilled in me, was in Oregon. So
Wow, that's interesting.
oh, sure. Okay, so yeah, so the defending bull, and I don't know how well you guys could hear some of the low audible sounds. I don't know how well you could hear some of the glunks and some of the huffs, pretty low audible. If you want to watch that video, if you go to YouTube, and it's The Mountain Project is the channel, and then scroll down and it's episode 42. So and that whole footage that you saw right there was within the first, I think it started about 45 seconds into the video. But it's a great video to watch. especially for learning some of those low audible bull vocalizations to get the realization. And it's just something kind of good to study and mold, because like I said, you can watch the demeanor, you can watch the vocalizations, you know, then when you go out in the field, you can get that picture in your head of going, okay, this is the story I'm trying to tell. This is the picture that I want to paint. And it will help you just big time out there in the field. So, okay. Any questions about anything else? Any other topics you want to cover?
So let me ask you a quick question. Is it with the aggressive and the tending bull, is there any chance at all that you could pull something away for the cow tag?
So
Doing, lost calf calls at that time? Or not so much?
You could. So because there is so much excitement and there is so much going on, you could slip close to the herd and you could start doing that lost distressed calf. And probably what's going to happen is one of the satellite bulls may come over first, but you could pull a cow on the fringe also. Or
just stay silent because they're making so much noise. It's easy to, I'm just saying it's easy to find them when they're doing that.
Oh yeah, it is. And then slip in and then hit a lost calf routine. You know, get in 100 yards. I mean, depending on how open is the timber? I mean, is it pretty thick? Is it pretty open?
Yeah, it's where we're hunting. It's pretty, it's thick. There's open spots, but it's pretty thick too.
Okay. So you could probably get within 7,500 yards, you think, without being noticed?
Oh yeah, easily.
Okay. Especially the fact that there's going to be so much focus on what's going on in the internal of that herd. Slip in and start really hitting that distressed, because see, here's what's going to happen with that is you break into that distressed calf, that distressed lost calf. And what's going to happen is, and the reason I say a bull may come first is because it may entice that bull to think that maybe one of the younger satellite bulls is over harassing that calf, trying to breed the calf, and he wants to come over there and protect the calf, you know, be big brother or something like that. Or the cow may come also at the same time, or maybe before, because she's going to want to do the same thing. She may run over thinking she's going to pop up on her hind hooves and smack him in the forehead with her front hooves to, you know, knock him away from that calf, or get in between him and the calf and herd the calf back into the group. So yeah, that approach could be highly successful on that.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, and that's one of those things though, when you're going to do that, I mean, do a lot of emotion on it. You know, just yeah, just very fast, very repetitive, and
okay, gotcha.
and very loud.
That could be what happened last year. I didn't do that aggressive like that. It was more of a, it was just slower than that last year. Yeah.
Remember, you're wanting to paint the picture of panic and despair.
Yeah.
So get that emotion in your head, panic, despair, fear, and let that project out in your calling and paint that picture.
I mean, I called bulls in like they were going out of style, but cows. So Lord have mercy, no.
You know, I know a few guys that would gladly switch places with you on that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
They call in a lot of calves. In fact, I remember there was a few years back that I mean, man, we were getting, and this was mid 2000s, late 2000s. No, yeah, mid 2000s, somewhere in there, because I was still wearing that leafy wear top that, you know, looked like leaves that would actually blow in the breeze. And I mean, we were getting so close. This was back in the time too that I would take elk fire, the elk in estrus urine, and I would spray it on my hat. So I mean,
smelling like elk everywhere. Gotcha.
I did. Oh, absolutely. And we were getting so close to the elk. In fact, we had a couple of calves that just would not leave us alone. And I'm like, man, if one of these keep following me, I'm just going to walk back to camp and I'm going to turn that little thing into camp meat, because it just won't leave us alone. And I set up and I'm calling, and we immediately just get this monstrous, thunderous bugle, and we just hear this, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we hear this running through the bush towards us. And all of a sudden, this calf breaks out about 10 yards away. And she comes up and she stops right next to me. And she kind of starts nibbling on the leaves. And my hunting partner over there, and I can hear him, he's like, he's trying not to laugh. And when it was all done and the calf finally, caught wind and ran back, and I said, "What the heck were you laughing at?" He goes, "I thought for sure you were getting pissed on." And I was like, "No, no, it didn't happen." So, but
We got a friend that one time was up in the mountains with us on an elk hunt. His name's Dave, and Dave rolled in the elk piss,
uh-huh.
covering himself up with it. And then he came back looking like he rubbed all the blacks from the tree on him too. It was just, but man, I mean, you can't smell nothing but
No,
but elk the whole
I,
time.
I had a buddy that used to do the same thing. If we came across fresh beds, he would actually get down and roll in that bed. So, but the two things that stopped me from putting the elk urine on me was, one, I got caught in a rainstorm, and my hunting partner looked over, and I had these brown streaks running down the side of my face, and it was all that cow urine from my hat that the rain was actually just washing out, so it was running down the side of my face.
Oh God.
And then the second one was, I was on a monster hike that day. I mean, I could smell elk all day long, and I'm like, God, I gotta be right on them. I can smell them so
You're
strong.
smelling yourself.
I was about 14 miles in. I realized that I wasn't chasing elk. I was actually chasing myself all day. So those were the times that I stopped spraying elk urine on me. And ever since then, so now when I smell elk, I know it's actually elk, and I'm not smelling myself or hunting myself. So makes it a lot easier. So I still use the stuff. I just don't put it on me anymore.
Right.
All right. What other questions, guys?
So I had a question. So during the breeding sequence, let's say if you do get, or if you get a bull coming in,
Uh-huh.
can you also use the cow sounds to entice that bull to come in? Like, the cow's not interested in the bull that's with her, and then bring that bull in.
You can. So what you want to do is, when you're doing the breeding sequence, pay attention to what he's really responding to.
Okay.
So, and this is one of the things that, if he's responding after you do a cow sequence, but not when you do a bull, then it's probably one of those things that he could be a little younger age class bull, and he's interested in the cow, but he's a little intimidated about the bull. So then what you can do is you can change your ratio. So change your ratio and change your directions. So you're going to do more cow sounds, and you're going to point the cow sounds towards him. You're going to do less bull sounds, but you're going to point the bull sounds away. And in fact, you can actually do that where it appears that the bull is kind of moving off that way a little bit because she's not interested, but the cow is moving towards him. And then you can kind of do, those assembly mews. And you're inviting that bull. You're basically asking him, come to me. And make sure that you're pointing at his direction. So, but yeah, absolutely. So that's one of those things of where you're paying attention, and you're being aware of what that bull is responding to, and you're tailoring what you're doing to what he's looking for. And that's really what we want to do is tap in, pay attention to the clues that he's giving us, and we're going to give him back what he wants. So, and that's what increases your number of call-ins. It's not one cookie cutter of doing the same exact thing the same time. I mean, I start the breeding sequence the same way every time, but I never know what direction it's going to go. I never know what that bull is going to do. And because some bulls, I mean, it may not be the point where I ever really ramp up a lot of aggression, because he's not that way. And so you need to clue in, and you need to do that, because if you have that bull that's answering cows but ignoring the bull sounds, if you put too much bull sounds in, you can actually intimidate him to the point where he won't come in, and eventually he'll just lose interest and walk away.
And then, so what if you use the defensive cow sound though? Will maybe entice the bull to like want to fight, maybe come in, or
Not necessarily, because that bull, he's going to respond more to the bull vocalizations. So I mean, even if I'm doing some raking and he starts raking, or I do huffs, grunts, and whines, and he sends a little bit more of an aggressive bugle my way, then I know, okay, he's got some testosterone level raised. He's raising the game a little bit. So I'm going to raise my aggression level a little bit to match his. And I'm going to see if I can use my bull vocalizations to raise his aggression to the point where he rips that challenge bugle. And then that's the thing too that I've talked in the past is, if he rips a challenge bugle, I'm not going to challenge him right back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for just a short pause, and then I'm going to kind of do some raking with kind of some huffs, grunts, and whines. But I'm going to be ready that as soon as I hear him make a vocalization, I'm going to crack the biggest thunderous challenge bugle that I can over the top of him. And I mean, I'm standing there with my tube just like this. And as soon as he goes to make another sound, I'm over the top of him again with a challenge. So, because now at this point, if he challenges and then you respond back, he's on offense, you're on defense. He's controlling the situation. Now, by doing what I'm talking about, now you're controlling the situation and you're on offense. You're controlling what's going on, and now he's in the defensive mode. And this is to the point where you can take that bull and you can raise that aggression level where he just gets so pissed off that he's like a freaking freight train coming in. And you better be ready when that happens. And you will know it's ready, because he will uncork a bugle that will basically knock your hat off and knock you off your feet. I mean, you can feel it to the core, but you better have an arrow knocked and you better be ready, because he doesn't care if there's a tree in the way or a bush on the way. He is coming. And so, to put it in human context, so if you're ever out somewhere and a fight's about ready to break, you can always tell whether they really want to fight or not, because they're going to sit there and they're going to be apart. They're going to go so close to each other. And then it's going to be kind of the jockeying back and forth. The way you can tell if somebody really wants to fight, they're going all the way. They're not stopping. And that's what happens in this scenario. That bull's not going to stop. He's not going to check up to scan the scenario. He's going to come in, eyes bulged, nostrils flared, piston all over the self like a sprinkler, and he ain't stopping. And it's one of those things that you trying to stop him in a shooting lane, I mean, you're screaming at him on the reed, just yeah. You almost have to bark at him to get him to stop in a shooting lane. But I'll tell you what, it is the most intense, heart-pounding adrenaline rush that just, you encounter something like that and you're just like, oh, that was awesome. And you're hooked. You're hooked from that point on.
Yep.
That's it.
What else? Mr. Sandy, what do you got?
More.
I hope I caught him with a mouthful of food.
No, I'm a quick eater. It's done and gone, but it was
Ah.
good food.
What'd you think of that video with that defensive bull?
Actually, I watched it last weekend.
Oh, did you?
I was going back through some of your older videos and remembered that one, and you called it out, and I said, oh, I need to go watch that again. So I went and watched it. I think it was Sunday.
Yeah.
So I was laying in bed listening to that. My wife comes in and goes, what the hell are you doing? What are those sounds?
Yeah, that one. And in fact, for Jim, a great video for you to watch to get ready for your cow hunt is Chris Rowe. Rowe Hunting Resources. He's got a video that's cow bugles, barks, and more. And it's basically, it is a lost cow. And you've heard me talk about my inviting cow routine.
Yeah.
That is what I molded my inviting cow routine after, was a cow that was doing that very same thing.
So it's Chris Rowe.
Yep. Rowe Hunting Resources. The video
Rowe
is,
Hunting. Okay.
yeah, cow bugles, barks, and more. So,
Okay, thanks.
yep. So, all right, guys, what else we got?
I got nothing.
Yeah, that was pretty much for me. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, then I guess we're going to wrap it up for this week. So appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Daniel, thanks for the topic suggestion. Hopefully that answered all the questions and either cleared things up or maybe made you a little more confused. Who knows? We can go either way here.
No, yeah, no, it did. No, I appreciate all the info. Like I know I ask a lot of questions on the other videos, but yeah, I appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for. So, and in fact, I pretty much decided that every Wapiti Live moving forward is going to be a Zoom. So I like the interaction a lot better. I think it goes better. It's a lot more fun. So we're just.
Well, remember this, Daniel. Last year I called a bull in to 6 yards from my wife with a lost cow call. Every 2 or 3 of them, like Michael said, every 5 minutes. And I had a watch on. You gotta, like you said, you gotta use a watch because 1 minute seems like a half an hour. So yeah, every 5 minutes. It took 45 minutes, and he came in without a noise to 6 yards, and it was a 6x6.
So
that was cool.
Daniel, where are you at on your elk hunting journey?
So we're hunting in. Well, this will be my 3rd year. I live in Colorado. We've been hunting Yampa,
Okay.
Colorado.
Okay.
So yeah, this will be my 3rd year. So basically, how I started was, so I used to go rifle hunting with my dad when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as archery, this will be our 3rd year. So we kind of paired up with some guys, and being out there, I just realized I did not know what I was doing. So I needed to get all the information that I can. But I mean, just from our last year, I mean, we're always like getting into elk, but we're having trouble sealing the deal.
Yep.
So
yeah, and that's basically one of those things, recognizing the scenario, recognizing what's being said, and knowing what to say back in the scenarios.
right.
And the other thing is it's really, really tough is the patience. The patience is, if I could teach anybody anything, patience is the biggest virtue. Don't try to rush the situation. Just stay within, what you're doing. And that video I was talking about, the video footage that I got of the cow, that was the year I went over and hunted the flat tops south of Steamboat Springs. So
Okay. Cool.
I think I headed out and got down to Oakley, and then from Oakley turned and went west and hunted those. Really cool area. I mean, some of the biggest stands of quake and aspens I had ever seen. Just gorgeous country. So, and in fact,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I had my best day in the elk woods over there with 26 bulls in one day.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I mean, yeah, I've seen like 2 so far, but I'm hoping that this year is gonna be. I hope it's gonna be a lot better. I know it is. I know it is.
Yeah. Now put in the work, put in the practice. If you haven't done it, go back to some of the first few videos in the instructional video series and really go through the cow sounds and the bull sounds, and then there's scenarios in there. And yeah, just really go through those. Then anytime that you're watching any elk hunting, or actually just any elk on YouTube, what you'll find is you'll start recognizing, you'll start recognizing the different vocalizations, and, okay, that's that sound, that's this sound, this means it, this means this is what they're doing, this is what I would do back. And it's just tuning that ear. And sometimes when I was really learning this, because we don't always have the vocalization or the visualization, we don't always get to see them. And so we really have to rely on what we're hearing. So that's why it's kind of nice when you can watch the videos to see their demeanor, to see their body language. And then it's like, oh, okay, that vocalization, now I understand, and try to put it into human context, what their demeanor is. Put that into human context, put that into human situations, and it's going to help you understand each of those a lot better. But biggest thing is just, tuning that ear. So, I mean, you caught in on that challenge bugle. I mean, that challenge bugle rises really quick. It's airy, it's short, it falls off sharp. So,
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, yeah, I actually, yeah, I do. I go back and I watch the videos. Like, I watch them multiple times because I really want to learn. I really
Cool.
want to get this stuff down. So,
Perfect.
yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. Keep the questions coming. It helps me figure out what to talk about on Wednesday nights. So in fact, I was sitting there before I read your email and the questions, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I actually went back to some Wapiti Live Q&As that I did like 3 years ago, and I was like, okay, let's find a topic. Let's expand on some of this information. And in fact, I got a text message a couple of days ago from somebody that they were watching Wapiti. I think it was 21-18. So it would have been the 18th episode in 2021, and was talking about encounters with other hunters. And they just asked if I would expand on that. So the next Wapiti Live Q&A, we're going to expand a little bit more about encounters with people on the woods and how to handle those and how to get information that's going to be an advantage to you. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up then. So I will hit the stop. No, I'll wait and stop recording until after I do the closing. Got to do that. So, yep. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, keep calling, keep practicing. More importantly, though, have fun. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks on the next Wapiti Live Q&A. Enjoy, everybody.